In continuation to chapter 1, where Arjuna was complaining and justifying why he shouldn't fight this war, in chapter 2, Sri Krishna Paramatma, being surprised, asking Arjuna loudly, "What's got into your mind? Why are you behaving silly at this point?" We could only imagine Sri Krishna Paramatma's mindset, like after conspiring for this war for so many years with Pandavas and Kauravas and playing so many roles and conspiracies around, finally at the tip of this moment where the war is going to begin, Arjuna is telling that he wants to give up this war and run away. What would be the mindset and reaction of anybody in the position if it is not Sri Krishna Paramatma?
I know you got an escape plan. Where do you keep it?
Yeah? What's your fucking escape plan, pal?
It's not about me, Frank. It's about you right now.
You know what? Fuck you, you motherfucker. You have fucked me so fucking bad. You did this, you motherfucker. You think they're not coming for you? You think you're not fucking next? I am a fucking dead man.
Well, do something about it,
You
Frank.
know who the fuck these people are? I'm a fucking dead man. I won't last a fucking week.
Then do the right thing.
If you see, even Sri Krishna Paramatma's tone may set a warning to Arjuna and to the spiritual readers of Bhagavad Gita, but Sri Krishna Paramatma is not even slightly disturbed from his state of glory because of Arjuna's behavior. As we know, he is the Lord Mahavishnu himself. In the verse 1 and 2, Sri Krishna Paramatma insists that this is in a sense of the temporary state because he is much concerned about his friend Arjuna as much as Sri Krishna Paramatma has to bring back Arjuna into sanity. Even we as humans, when our friends is dejected, we don't say, yeah, that is gone, it is lost, you are done. We don't say like that. Even though they are in a bad position, we try to bring them back to a good state of mind so that we can find a solution. So that's what Sri Krishna Paramatma is also trying in the beginning now. Swami Ram Sukdas says that noble people, even great saints, will not accept anyone's faint-heartedness. They shun it because it doesn't lead to any good. Laziness and escapism are definitely not the qualities of noble men. Sri Krishna Paramatma says that even to Arjuna, even if you forget about salvation of your soul and focus on material desires, the highest attainment for a material seeker is heaven. With your faint-heartedness, you couldn't attain even that. Whether the heaven could be attained or not, even then, noble people do their deeds at earth with enthusiasm and with a sense of responsibility, which earns them fame in this world. If you run away now, it will defame you, Arjuna. There are 3 expressions given by Sri Krishna Paramatma in this shloka. Number 1, Anaryujishtam, which is non-thoughtfulness. Number 2, Asvargyam, which is non-virtuous. Number 3, Akirtikaram, which is non-willingness. Arjuna, by justifying his righteousness and dharma, he is trying to do all these wrong deeds. Krishna Paramatma trying to convey to Arjuna, by escaping this war, he is losing his heavenly pleasures and he is losing his mind and he is losing to have a peaceful life on this earth as well. Again in this verse 3, Sri Krishna Paramatma calling Arjuna as Partha just to remind of his mother Kunti so that he will remember Kunti's message so he could feel brave again. Sri Krishna Paramatma says to Arjuna that he is making this decision to give up this war because of his faint-heartedness and not because of righteousness. Because if Arjuna, being a Kshatriya warrior, must remember his dharma to fight, not fighting the war he was called upon is a behavior coming out of impotence, and that would be the sin. Sri Krishna Paramatma also reminds Arjuna that this is not the first time he will be destroying his enemies. Arjuna, you are known as a vanquisher of foes. Why are you showing now this disinclination towards this war? Sri Krishna Paramatma encourages him, saying that this temporary faint-heartedness will make you petty, and this is a small emotion engulfing you which you can easily come out of. So Sri Krishna Paramatma, without caring for Arjuna's lame excuses, orders him to get ready for the war. In verse 4, listening to Sri Krishna Paramatma's scolding, Arjuna starting to justify again, saying that I am not afraid to wage the war or fight, and I am not afraid of death either. But standing in the opposing army are my masters and grandsires. They adored me, taking like their own son. Dronacharya adored me more than his own son. He taught me the usage of Brahmastra, which he didn't teach his own son, Ashwatthama. He also adored me and believed in me, saying that nobody will win me in any military science. How can I kill such people? It would be a deadly sin to do so. Arjuna says that it's better to leave this war and live a life without fame or money and called upon names as a coward or anything. But if I win this war killing my noble elders, then what I will be having in the end? All I'll be having is a bloodstained wealth for the rest of my life. Swami Ram Sukdas points out that Bhishma and Drona are noble people. They should not be identified as Kauravas by the readers. They are also fighting this war allied with Duryodhana, true, but they aren't feeling guilty. That's because they aren't fighting this war because of greed or money. They are fighting believing that it's their duty to do so. They chose Duryodhana's side because they were working under Duryodhana's kingdom, so as noble souls they cannot betray their own kingdom. Swami Ramsakdas also points out that Arjuna keep justifying to Sri Krishna, thinking that Sri Krishna is asking him to wage the war to win land and money. He totally forgot about the Kshatriya Kula Dharma. Swami Ramsukdas says that if an evil comes in evil form, it's easier for us to vanquish it. But if it comes in disguise in the form of good, then it's difficult to identify and let it go. This was the state of Arjuna, engulfed by the evil of attachments covered up in the name of righteousness in his mind. Sri Aurobindo in his book Essays on Gita says that man must distinguish between his moral beingness and a social duty. For example, it's the duty of an army man to fight. It's the duty of a lawyer to defend his client irrespective of whether he is guilty or not. Similarly, it's the duty of the judge to send the guilty to prison and order to hang the murderer. But if an army man suddenly feels compassion for the enemy in the border, what will happen to his countrymen? If the judge finds the capital punishment for guilty people to be immoral, then where will the judiciary system go? So, irrespective of our moral value and conduct, we should perform our duty without hesitation. Sri Aurobindo says that Bhagavad Gita is not asking the humans to leave the higher inner morality for the sake of duty. Instead, it's asking the humans to give up the attachment so the duties can be performed considering as divine will. Each one of us was chosen to be a doctor, lawyer, author, or any profession by our inner desire and divine will. So, performing the duties is our personal and professional life without any sense of control, guilt, and submitting the result and the effort to God is the message here. Sri Paramhansa Yogananda, in his book God Talks with Arjuna, calls the state of Arjuna as a self-sympathetic response of the ego mind. Sri Aurobindo says that this is not the first time this type of incident happened in the history. Even great sages were a victim of ego trap, as said in our Puranas. As explained in previous videos, man is always built by his samskara as a personality. Even a devotee in his advanced state of meditation feels sympathetic or other emotions and falls prey to the ego mind in a moment. But the God, one's own inner spirit force, will come to help the devotees and calls him back to the true soul space. Our inner spirit is always conscious of us. It is the seeker who wanders, strives, complains, again comes back, prays, meditates, and yet constantly guided by the divine within. Paramhansa Yogananda says that humans should be able to distinguish between soul pleasures and the illusory worldly pleasures. He states that Krishna Paramatma mentioned that if you want to know the joy of heavenly consciousness in every cell of your body, then you must give away all the sense of attachment. Please note that Sri Krishna Paramatma is not asking to give up the desires or the eagerness and interest of life. He is asking us to give up the attachment on the senses and the desires and pleasures. He is not denying us to receive it or experience it. Bhagavan Osho, in his book Krishna the Man and His Philosophy, says that the whole of humanity is deceived by knowledge. This is the greatest deception. Just like Arjuna, with his wisdom and the knowledge earned from his childhood, is justifying with his righteousness and so on, all the knowledge has to be shunned out so that the seeker can open himself to the divine flame within. This is not possible with pseudo knowledge. Bhagavan Osho says that after Mahabharata war, there was too much goodness on earth, and the great avatars like Mahavira, Buddha were too good and peaceful, and Indians also started to practice non-violence and peace. This indirectly made our people weak, powerless, and passive. India was in this peaceful condition, passive condition. The aggressors of the whole world set loose their hordes on India. Bhagavan Osho says that when somebody hurts you, 50% of it is our fault, as we are in that place at that time with that point of attraction to receive that particular experience. So we need to keep our soul flame alive inside and perform our duties, and being aware of our thoughts and perceptions, what is attracted into our life. The ahimsa preached in Bhagavad Gita is widely misinterpreted to be peaceful and non-violent and not reacting to anything happening around us. It is not so. We should not shrink or suppress our mind and hearts when we see injustice around us or happening to us. Letting us to be enslaved by others or even enslaved by our negative emotions like fear or laziness should be shifted. So let's be courageous and proud of our origin and dharma, so we don't have to bow down to evil. So what do you think of Sri Krishna's actually meant here in these verses? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. And Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare.